Hey guys, it is MissSimReno, and we are back with another episode of our Growing Together LP. I quite literally almost forgot what it was called. We're actually here with Archer and his brother Holden, because where we left off last episode, Archer was about to go and meet up with his brother for the first time in probably about... I don't even know if I've said before. Him and Hannah have been together for like 3 years. He probably cut off his brother maybe 5 to 8 years ago or something, which is actually identical to their age gap. They're like between 5 and 8 years apart. I don't know exactly. I don't really set ages for my Sims, but just kind of with Archer's backstory, that's what I was thinking. And they decided to come out because Archer was like, I want to get together and I want to start seeing if we can kind of patch things up. I'm a dad now, and it's important to me. Also, before we really get into things, which is why I paused it, it's pouring rain, which is gross. We're gonna go inside soon. But this lot is actually called the Cozy Bar by Akmea, Akyemea 35 on the gallery, just FYI. It is really cute. It is a bar lot. We've got this bar upstairs, and one of the reasons why I downloaded it, not only because it's cute and it fits in, but this right here, like the ships and everything, because it made me think of the fact that this is like an old fishing city town thing. And we've got like some card games, and we've got some foosball and stuff down here, and it's really cool. There's actually 2 sides to it as well. There's technically 2 bars, but when you do have a bar lot, only one will show up. So makes perfect sense to me, but I thought it was a really cute and kind of like fitting lot. And this is actually in lieu of them going to the restaurant, which I believe is, where is the restaurant? Oh, right over there. It's in the same district. But even before we let them continue with their conversation, we've got this right here immediately popping up for Archer. Though he's feeling very happy because of all these other things that are going on in his life, it doesn't squash the underlying embarrassment and awkwardness that both him and Holden are feeling right now. If you look up, actually, we'll look at it in a second. We'll look at the moodlet first. Oh, awkward from distant family dynamic. Archer never knows how to act around distant family members. Things just get weird. Sometimes it feels like they just don't get each other. And now that we're back to letting them converse a little bit, Holden's also feeling super embarrassed talking to Archer. He's like, wow, little brother, you look pretty grown up at this point. He's like, well, I mean, yeah, Archer, I'm kind of like, a man now. I'm not just like your baby brother anymore. He's like, I know, I didn't mean anything by it. Yeah, I mean, you look a lot different. He's like, yeah, okay, let's just go inside. Let's get a drink. So we're gonna go up here, actually, and we are going to order drinks for our group. And I think we're just gonna go ahead and get a couple beers. Why not get a couple beers to kind of chat about your life over? Hopefully Holden actually joins us, because again, there's 2 sides to this bar lot. So I want to make sure that he actually comes over here. I don't know if he's going to, so I'll try to force him to. But yeah, they decided to meet up at the bar. They thought it would be a little less formal. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like bars, I didn't frequent a lot of bars when I was, I don't know, even when I was like in college, and even now I definitely don't frequent bars. They're just not my scene, man. But I feel like the setting is very like low key compared to like sitting down in a restaurant and having a meal with someone. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like they're a little bit more laid back. So I figured it would be a kind of a good idea for them to just kind of hang out at the bar, have a beer, and just chat and kind of see basically what happens, because they haven't seen each other in so long. So we're actually going to be super casual. We're going to like talk about the rain, which is just, I'm doing everything in the small talk category because I feel like that's what's going to lead them to be the most comfortable with one another, because they're feeling really like awkward and embarrassed and whatnot. So I feel like that's going to be the best route to take. We're also going to go ahead and order another round of beers because I forgot that Sims drink and eat things so much faster. But Archer's just like, well, I mean, it's good to get together. It's good to see you. And Holden seems super distracted. He's like, no, I mean, I'm glad. So tell me about your family. Tell me about your new baby. I mean, if you want to. And Archer's like, yeah, I do. He's going to boast about his family a little bit. And I think that's coming not from a place of literally making Holden like feel bad in any capacity, but he's also going to brag about the baby because he's absolutely obsessed with his daughter. But I don't know. I think that they're just going to try to try to talk and get to know one another a little bit better. And yeah, look at, he's literally bragging. He's literally bragging. Holden, you don't belong behind the bar, buddy. Can you come back over here and sit? Like, please. Sometimes this game honestly just frustrates me. Like, can you please just come sit down over here, not behind the bar where you don't belong? Anyway, then Holden's like, well, no, she's beautiful, Archer. I mean, yeah, she's adorable. She's really pretty. She's a really beautiful baby. He's like, thanks. Some awkward silence, and Holden's like, I mean, you're a dad. Did you ever think that was gonna happen? Archer's like, I kind of knew that you'd probably ask this. I mean, no, I really didn't think it was gonna happen. I'm glad it did, but it definitely wasn't on my bingo card, you know? And Holden laughs. He's like, well, it suits you. I mean, you look pretty happy, and you look, I don't know, confident. You look different. Like, well, it's been a few years too. He's like, no, there's just something about you. You just look a lot better. You just look like you're more comfortable in your own skin. He's like, that's kind of like a pretty serious, observation. He's like, well, as much as you kind of don't think I do, just because it's been years, I felt like I knew you pretty well, They're gonna talk about the rain again, but I just noticed that Archer got a sentiment with his brother. You make my day so much better. Thanks for making me smile. And we're actually going to go ahead and take a look at that because they're having a positive conversation. It might sound like I'm stuttering through it and it might sound awkward, but I'm doing that on purpose because I feel like these conversations, there's like this very serious undertone to them, but they're trying to be casual. I feel like they're both dying to get to know one another again. They just don't know what to do. So yeah, they do of course still have the distant dynamic, but they do have closer from happy memories, which I think is really important because, when they were growing up, maybe Holden had a lot more happy memories with Archer than Archer had of Holden. Do you know what I mean? And he got another sentiment. Wait, he got another one with his brother. Growing closer from quality time. So this is actually going super duper well with his brother. But he's like, well, tell me what you do for work. Like, what are you up to? And he's just saying, oh, well, I work at a local art gallery actually on the other side of town. It's yeah, it's pretty cool. I actually work there with my girlfriend. He's like, oh, that's good for you. That's great. How long have you guys, been together? Oh, a couple of years, roughly. Oh, that's great, Holden. I'm glad you found somebody. I genuinely had to make a cut because I don't know why Sims don't just stay seated, but I swear it drives me nuts. Anyway, they were having a good conversation. They had a few beers in them. Archer's feeling a little bit looser. He feels like he's having a good time with his brother, and Holden seems to be kind of loosening up as well, that they decided to come down here and play some foosball. And you know what kind of creeped up? Even though he's still feeling embarrassed, Archer is now a family-oriented sim, remember? He adopted this trait very recently. So he's actually feeling very happy from family time by hanging out with his brother. And I did take temporary control of Holden to just try to fix this. But yeah, they're now actually good friends too. They get along really, really well. But I think that, getting some of the casual talk out of the way and opening up just ever so slightly, Archer talking about Rose and just how happy he is to be a dad and, that everything's great with Hannah. And then you've got Holden who's like, yeah, I've got a girlfriend and, this is what I do for work. Like, they're really just trying to get to know each other again. And even though it's awkward, they feel really happy about taking this step. And even though they're playing foosball as kind of a distraction maybe from the conversations they want to have, Holden is just like, so what made you reach out in the first place? And Archer, trying to score his next point here, he's like, well, just been too long, and you live in this, you still live here, and it's just having, Hannah's family in town, and now having Rose, I felt like I owed it to us to try to reconnect. And I think Holden just allowed like a smile to creep on his face, and he's like, that's a pretty good reason. I accept that. That's a pretty good reason. And I'm glad you did. And I think Archer is even apologizing, saying, and I'm sorry I was so short with you when, you had texted me the other day, and when you called me, a while ago, not the other day, it was before Rose was even born. But he's like, I'm sorry about that. I just didn't know what to do, And Holden's like, hey, you don't have to apologize. I might not get it, but I'm going to try to understand, And he's like, thanks, little brother. And Holden's like, you can stop calling me that anytime now. Like, I'm sorry, just old habits die hard, Well, they had a lovely night. It is actually like 8:30 at night. They got here at like 2 o'clock. They've been here for literal hours, and they had a great time. And the only reason I pause is because, I'm going to take a screenshot because I need it. But this was really positive. It wasn't really the afternoon or the evening that Archer was thinking it was going to be. He didn't really know what to make of it, but he certainly wasn't planning on spending this much time with his brother, in the first time in years. That wasn't part of the plan. He had to even like text Hannah at one point being like, hey, I'm going to be back late. I'll just fill you in when I get home. And she was just like, do what you got to do. Like, don't worry about it. Because she's an amazing supportive person and we love her. But yeah, they're going to say goodbye and Archer's going to head home. Guess who came home and jumped right on his workout machine over here? Yep, it's our boy Archer. So let's unpack this. It felt rushed on my end, but hopefully it was impactful to you all because it was not meant to be like this smooth meeting. It was not meant to be this like jolly good time. It was supposed to be awkward. It was supposed to be tense. There was supposed to be a mix of like really serious questions and attempts at casual conversation, and that is exactly what it was. And of course, as we know, he's trying to lift so heavy and he's not doing great. But Archer's feeling major anxiety over this. Again, he's just like overwhelmed with all of these conflicting feelings. He's like, I know why I kept my distance, but holy, is it good to see my brother. Like, it's so good to see him. He's so different and yet he's the same. Like, he switched between looking at him as like this young adult, this young man, and his baby brother that he essentially helped raise. And he didn't know how he looked to Holden. Do you know what I mean? Holden was basically just like, hey, what's up, Archer? And Archer's the one that slipped into calling him little brother. Do you see what I mean? There's still this distance between the two of them that, of course, wasn't meant to be bridged the first time they got together. But he has been thrown for a complete loop. He hasn't even talked to Hannah yet. He basically like said goodnight to Rose and ran out to the garage, and he's like, I'll be right back. I'll be back soon, I promise, and we'll talk about it. And Hannah was kind of worried about him, like just a little tiny bit, but she got pretty distracted because Rose was a little bit fussy tonight. So she kind of just let it slide, and he's got to go in there and talk to her about this. But yeah, what a day. Like, what a freaking day. He actually became, like, let's go ahead and look. I know it says that Holden is unemployed, but technically he works at an art gallery, so we'll get there at some point. But all we learned about Holden is that he's active, which is, I think, something that him and Archer, of course, have in common. I actually can't recall now if Archer has that trait, but he loves working out, so it definitely makes sense. He is only a high school graduate. I don't say only in any derogatory sense, but he is a high school graduate. He decided not to pursue college, and he ended up working at the art gallery that he's at with his girlfriend, presumably. We don't really know yet, I guess. But they are actually now good friends, which I'm wondering how this is going to impact their eventual dynamic. Like, I haven't really played around with the dynamics naturally occurring in game. I'm not sure if they can change over time, depending on the actions that you kind of force your Sims into. So right now we've got the duality of being good friends with his brother at this point and really feeling that connection with him, but also still feeling super distant from him because they were very reserved around each other. They really probably won't reach out to each other that much, at least not right now. But they didn't develop any bitter sentiments, even though there's a higher chance of that. So like all in all, this was actually pretty good. And they developed 2 positive sentiments, 2 close sentiments, I'm pretty certain. Yeah, both of them growing closer from quality time and happy memories. And maybe this is a great opportunity for them to really, really start fresh. They can't bury the past forever, but maybe they can start fresh. It's probably like midnight or something. Honestly, this child's schedule is a mess, but look who can sit up and play with their toys now. Our little nugget. It was actually right before we started filming when I first loaded them up. She learned how to sit up, so good for us. It is the next morning and Archer's up with Rose, who woke up actually very sad. She's so sad, even with the raspberry. She's not happy. She woke up awake and sad. It's about to go away in like 18 minutes, but that's kind of It's kind of a bummer. She woke up really, really upset. She's not really, is she a morning baby? I don't remember. She's an early riser, but that doesn't mean that she likes being up. Do you know what I mean? So we are going to give her a very quick bottle, make sure her needs are high because she's hungry and she's probably going to have to use her diaper soon anyway, but we will... We will feed her really quick and let mom kind of sleep in a little bit here. They didn't even get a chance to talk last night, and Archer's feeling increasingly nervous to talk to Hannah about it. He had a little bit more processing time last night as he was trying to get to sleep. Like, he could not get to sleep. He was exhausted from working out. He was like emotionally exhausted from the entire day, but he really didn't get a chance to calm down and really process things. So he just kind of immediately went in and, kissed Rose goodnight, and he tried to go to sleep, and he was up forever. And he was a little bit tired this morning. He slept in a little bit later than he usually does. But yeah, he really wasn't doing too hot. And Hannah was like already in bed. She wasn't going to stay up super late, just waiting for him. So yeah, they haven't even spoken yet, and Archer's just feeling increasingly nervous about doing that. But thankfully, having Rose is a very good distraction. Having this little nugget is a great distraction. This drives me nuts. You see this right here, this baby bottle? I don't fully understand. Like, this diaper pail is technically a garbage can. Like, I was just able to throw the bottle out. I don't know why, if we've got a bottle in the room and we have that can in the room, why it doesn't work. But yeah, it doesn't, which kind of drives me nuts. But Hannah is up, and she is basically just waiting to chat with Archer because she's really eager to hear about how everything went. She knows it probably went okay because obviously he didn't like wake her up to talk about how awful it was, but also didn't wake her up to tell her how great it was. So she's just gonna come in here and be like, well, good morning to you. And they're gonna leave, of course they are. Why would they stay in there with their child? He wanted to kiss her. That's nice. That's nice. Now they're gonna go back in there. Okay, well, I guess that's sweet. That's fine. Oh, and we just, can I have a break? The Babel milestone, Baba, Dag, Gaga. Is that Simlish? Not quite, but getting close. In a very basic form, Rose is starting to communicate with her feelings. Socializing with more Sims and even stuffed animals will surely help shape those syllables into full words. Cute. I also put her here because I wanted her to play with the toys, because now that she can actually sit up and like reach for toys and stuff like that, she has a fun meter. If you didn't notice, that was blanked out before. So she actually needs to like do things that are fun now. Anyway, back to the serious conversation. Archer's like, well, it went really well, babe. It really did. I mean, I think we were both pretty nervous. I think that Holden was happy to be there. I think he was happy to see me. I mean, I don't know. It seemed like he was. And she's like, I'm sure he was. I mean, did he say anything that made you feel otherwise? And he's like, no, I mean, not really. But I guess we just didn't really know what to talk about. We just kind of made small talk. And she says, well, hon, like, what did you expect? Did you expect him to just open up? Were you just going to open up out of nowhere? He's like, well, no, absolutely not. She's like, then it was good. Take it for what it is. It was a good time. You finally saw him after years, and maybe you'll see him again soon. Who knows? And he just looks at Rose and he's just thinking, maybe. Like, maybe I will. But it is Sunday as well. So now that they've had their little conversation, Archer's feeling a little bit better, opening up to his wife a bit more here. I think that he's going to get ready for the day, and maybe the weather's a little bit overcast, but maybe they can go for like a little walk downtown and they can take Rose, because they haven't really gone out and about with her either. Though Archer did, of course, get a text a little bit earlier today. I say of course as if it's like completely obvious, but he got a text earlier today from Amos as well, like early this morning, and he was basically like, hey, like, do you want to get the babies together? So that's something that they actually might do as well, maybe this afternoon or this evening. They don't want to do it too late after last time when they had Amir over. And now that they have Rose, they don't want to stay out too late just because of the baby schedules and all that fun stuff. Honestly, because I just can't get enough of these walking around the trails things. It's just so cute. And look who we have in tow. Do you see? Just pause for a second. Look at Archer's face. Rose is like, my dad. And Amir is like, for the love of God, this man bun. I think I'm funny. But we met up with Amos and Jesse and decided to take the littles on a little walk around the lake, pond, whatever the heck you want to call it. Rose is happy as can be. Amir just seems indifferent about the entire escapade. But they're just kind of catching up. They're just hanging out a little bit more. Like I said earlier, Amos had reached out and was like, hey, you guys want to get together and, you know, do some stuff with the babies and, you know, get them to have some fresh air, you know? Fresh air is really good for all of us, especially young kiddos. If you want them to nap really well, just take them outside for a little bit. But yeah, Archer decided to carry Rose, keeps him in tip-top shape. And Jesse always carries Amir. He's like really particular about it. Amos is like, look, I tackle like story time and bath time. Typically, Jesse insists on carrying Amir in the back carrier though if we're out and about. Don't know why, just a thing. But they're just all kind of catching up. I think that Archer, Jesse, and Amos are also just trying to plan for their next trip because every now and then they do have to essentially go out for a longer fishing trip. You know, they go out fishing every single morning, but every now and then they have longer trips that maybe last like a couple of days. So they're actually gearing up for one of those trips soon. It's not usually fantastic. It's a little bit worrisome usually for Hannah because it typically means like more dangerous conditions. It means going out a little bit farther to try to get the more dangerous catches, honestly. So Hannah's not a huge fan. I think she's a little bit more anxious as well, just now that they have Rose, you know, now that they've got her to worry about. I think she's a little bit nervous. And actually, let me pause here quick because I need her to try to go night-night. Please try to go night-night. Take a little nap in your carrier because she's so tired. She actually just took her like afternoon nap before they went out on this little walk here too. Amir's upset as well. Oh no. We have two crying infants. They're both so upset. I think Rose fell asleep. Yeah, Rose was able to kind of nod off. Sleep. Yeah, she's sleeping. She's fine. Amir's pissed, though. So they might actually cut this short. They may head back to Archer and Hannah's with the babies and let them just take a little bit of a nap and keep planning their trip. Thank goodness we are back. And Amos and Jesse actually brought over the little pack and play this time for sweet little Amir. So he's able to take his little nap because he was exhausted. Rose needs a diaper change. She's exhausted. She has to also be put to bed. But the guys are out here just watching the sports channel and having a great time. And they've planned their trip. It looks like over the next couple of days, they will actually be gone. They will actually be gone on their fishing trip, which means that it's pretty much going to be Hannah and Rose all by their lonesome for the first time, really, because Archer has always been there. He hasn't spent, you know, a night away, obviously, from Rose since she was born, and it's making him a little bit nervous. It's also making Hannah nervous, though, because yeah, he's never been away from them. He's just never been away, and he's just like, oh my gosh, like, am I going to be able to handle it? Can they handle it? You know, he doesn't technically doubt Hannah in any capacity, but he's like, oh my God, is my little nugget going to be okay? Like, is everyone going to be all right? But yeah, he's going to be spending some time away on their fishing trip. And he was just talking to Amos and Jesse, and he's just like, yeah, actually, oh my God, him and Amos are wearing the exact same boots. I mean, you have probably similar gear, equipment, attire, whatever, when you are a fisherman. So it's fine. It makes sense, I guess. But he was trying to open up a little bit. You know, he's trying to do this whole friend thing. Amos and Jesse were talking about their families. They were talking about Amir's development. And Archer was like, I feel like I need to share something in return, right? Like that was his inner dialogue. He's like, so they shared something with me. I'll share something with them. And he's kind of nervous because he feels like he went a little bit too overboard, but I think that's just his uncertainty in really opening up and sharing with people. But he was like, yeah, you know, I got together with my brother recently. And Amos and Jesse know. They know this because they know his brother and his dad. They know them because they're a competing fishing boat. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is an industry they're all in together, but they know not to bring them up because they know that Archer doesn't talk to them. But Amos was like, wow, is that big? Like, is that a big deal to you? Like, how are you feeling about it? And Archer kind of recoiled a little bit, and he's like, you know, I feel all right. It's cool. I don't know. I just thought I'd share it. You know, it was a good time, and I'm glad we did it. And Amos was like, well, hey, if you're happy about it, then that's all that really matters. I'm happy for you. That's great. You know, it's positive. And then Archer just slips back into talking about work because he's like, yep, okay, cool, I shared, like, that's it, no more. Also, I realize I really need to fill these picture frames. So let me just take a quick pause and check out inventories, because I know we have some pictures, but we don't have a ton, and they might all be small. Yeah, like here, her parents and old Stumpy. All right, yeah, we'll definitely do that one. No, these are a little bit close. That's the bassinet and the teddy bear that Archer came home with, which was really cute. I wonder if we have some of these. Oh, I guess that one's not big enough to fit up there, but it's bummer. I was actually really hoping that it was. Do we have any other? Oh, there's a gnome in that one. Are you kidding me? And then the other ones that we have are all vertical. So we need to start filling that up with some more pictures, because I added it for a reason. I really love the picture frames. How is Amir doing, by the way? Okay, good. He's asleep. Everybody's asleep. Everybody's taking like their early evening nap. We're all good. Right, so I thought this was going to be a good idea, all right, because I want to add a little bit of realism to Archer's job here, okay? So I decided to make a club. Now, I'm thinking that this is like, I don't know, I'm thinking on the back end, this is like a roster of his crew, right? So the name of his ship, by the way, of their fishing vessel is the Grand Clam, because I think it's hilarious and I love a good pun. Some of the other puns, look, if you look up good names for fishing boats, they are dirty. They are dirty. Get your mind out of the gutter, everyone. The Grand Clam was tame, okay? Anyway, get off my high horse. They're actually hilarious. Anyway, so Archer, Amos, and Jesse are all now part of a club. Their positive activities, their like dues, are going fishing. So I thought that would be really useful if they do have some other gatherings in the future when they go off on this trip. You know, they'll actually all be in a club where they're doing the same activities. I just thought it would be useful for gameplay. I think, yeah, Amir's upset. It looks like Jesse's gonna go check on him immediately. Oh no. Oh, he's so upset. He's gonna change his diaper really quickly. I think he needs a diaper change. I think he was actually getting a little bit stinky before. Oh, but it looks like they're actually gonna head out too now that he's awake. So we're gonna say goodbye to them for now, because it looks like everybody's probably gonna go home. It's getting late. It's getting very near everybody's bedtime. So we'll probably hang out with our friends a little bit later, and Archer leaves tomorrow for his fishing trip. Archer's just saying goodnight to his little baby girl, and he's gonna spend a little bit of time in the rocking chair. We all know Archer's a pretty solitary dude at this point, but you know what he did after Amos and Jesse left? He dug out his old toy box. Yes, this was Archer's old toy box. He has kept it forever. He kept it in the garage. I know we hadn't seen it, but let's just play along. And he finally had a reason to dig it out. He put all of like Rose's toys in here. They actually ended up getting these blocks recently, because now that she can sit up on her own and kind of like scoot around, they figured she needs a few more toys on the ground aside from just the little play mat. But I thought it was really sweet, and I really love this object from Growing Together, because it looks like an older, like hand painted, passed down, you know, toy chest, which I really like. So Archer is just taking some time to, you know, really just process this day. Well, not even this day, but really the past few days, to be completely honest with you. He saw his brother. It was great, you know, for what it was. And then the next day he was entirely distracted, which is, I think, a really positive thing. He was distracted. He got to see his friends. And you hear that, how that just slipped out? That's what happened in his head. He was like, yeah, my friends. That's what they are. They're my friends. They're not just, you know, my crewmates. They're not just like my, line fishermen? I don't know the terms. Don't come for me, but you know what I mean? Like, they're not just people that he works with anymore. He really does consider them friends, and he feels really good for opening up to them and kind of like filling them in on this kind of big development in his life, even if he doesn't think it's going to go anywhere, even if he doesn't know if it's going to go anywhere. He wanted to fill them in. And that's pretty much where we're going to leave things off. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Again, it was a little bit less organized. We had a few things that were pretty much on the docket here, right? But there really wasn't much that I was intending to do with them. You know, they're really just trying to maintain their groove with Rose. They're spending time with newfound friends. And Archer's just trying to process the fact that his brother may be entering his life again, and he doesn't really know in what capacity. But hope you all enjoyed this. Can't wait to hear your thoughts, and I'll catch you next time I post an episode. Bye.